Hello.
Hello.
I'm Megan,
I'm Matt.
and you're listening to The Night Owl. All right. You are listening to one of my curated tracks. I made it the other day. I'd say I'm very proud of my music. I'm still curating. I'm getting into it again. And I'm just very happy to still be creating and to still be around people that kind of share the same love for music that I do. And hopefully I have some new gigs coming. I'm not concerned too much about them, but it'll be a great chance for me to, show the world what I have to offer and, rock on.
Yeah, keep it going.
The new sex, drugs, and rock and roll is now being a DJ with social media. Right? I'll show you a screenshot. Let's see if I can get a screenshot here. Let's see if I took one. I don't think I took one here. Hold on. Oh, here. Okay, I'll send it to my phone or to my computer here, and you guys can see what I mean. It's just a short little thing. But yeah, how have you been doing, Matthew?
Good.
And how's Bean?
Bean's been doing good. Finally winter around here. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's fucking cold out now.
Cold and snowy and full of snow and
yeah, it's before we had that cyclone for before Christmas, and it was kind of a hassle for a lot of people. For us, not so much. It was just really cold in the Midwest, but for a lot of people, it was really bad, like power outages, people's cars getting stuck and animals probably suffering and, flights being canceled. Of course, the sick joke is that it's during Christmas or holiday. And, yeah, it sucks that happened to people. So I hope everyone's kind of doing better and, feeling better. I just think it sucks that we had that cyclone and then all of a sudden it was like, oh, it's like 45 degrees in Illinois. And like, oh, there's like sun and then it was like gray for weeks, right? It felt like almost months. And then there'd be a couple of days where it was nice out. And then there'd be a thunderstorm and it's just crazy. So now we're getting snow. Now we're getting the winter, the snow every day. That's all everyone's talking about, how cold it is and everything. So winter's here, at least for us. So I wanted to share this with you guys. It's so freaking funny. It is basically a pie chart of being a DJ. And it says, life of a DJ. DJing is a small slice. It says 1995, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. And then 2022, which I could still say is still relevant. Social media has taken over that position. So yeah, if you're a DJ or a musician or even just like an artist, someone that day to day you have to, post on your socials, not just Instagram, but like SoundCloud and Etsy, whatever, that's taking up most of your life. And I would say even for my new job, you guys, I have a new job. I'm a salon assistant, which is great. I get paid more than, the normal salon assistant because I'm not venturing off to do hair one day. I've already played that game and I'm done playing. So now I get to watch these youngsters, and I say youngsters because they're like 15 years younger than me, become the new artists of Chicago. And this salon's been around for, I'd say, a few years, maybe not very long. The owner's very cool. She's really good at her job. She's good at letting the girls express themselves, letting them take time on their clients. There's no rushing. There's no hierarchy. And she like lets them kind of take over the salon and run the salon. So she's not always there. And it's fine. She's going between two locations. I'm in the Southport location, so I'm across from the Music Box, which is nice. It's really fun to be able to make good money assisting these girls and seeing the clients come in, seeing the amazing work that they do on the hair and, just kind of being a fly on the wall. And then at the end of the day, we all can just go home and come back and do it again. So it's definitely helping me and helping us. And it's a different change of pace. And it's something that I'm normally used to being around because I've been in several salons over the past, 10 years of my life. And yeah, so you guys, I say, I mean, oh, and I'm also taking photos for them. So I'm taking hair photos and I'm posting it on their social media. So I have about 5 Instagrams now. Like I have 2 SoundClouds, 5 Instagrams, 3 Facebook pages. It's insane. So I don't know how. I think I'm on the tail end of millennial. So um, I just feel like I'm used to that. I'm used to that stuff, but I still need some tips and I don't want to pay anyone to help me. So I'm just going to have to figure it out. But anyway, I am Megan.
I'm Matt.
This is the Night Owl Chicago, an all-inclusive podcast that includes music, art, and life, and everything in between. Zing! Ding. Oh, yeah. So we have a couple stories. Matt, do you have any stories at all?
I do not.
Okay, so we have a couple stories and I wanted to share with you guys. Let's save the dark for last because, that's how I am. I don't like to start dark and sad. I like to make sure that we are, starting on a good note, a high note, and we will go from there. So this one is from our listeners. I told you guys that you are welcome to go on our Facebook page and, leave comments, and also leave stories. Email us at thenightowlchicago@gmail.com. That is where I'm watching and, paying attention to any kind of interesting stories or comments or hate mail, whatever. Yeah, you could send us hate mail. It's great. And for all of that, we will not say anyone's name unless we think it's maybe hurtful to others, right, or a threat in some way. But yeah, so this is our question. It says, if anyone can narrate your life, who would it be and why? Matthew, who would it be and why?
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking for the smooth, dulcet tones, maybe a sweet Morgan Freeman.
And it doesn't have to be a celebrity. It could be maybe just like a politician or obviously you wouldn't pick that, but anyone that's maybe semi-famous, maybe just for their voice. I'd pick Colin Farrell because I like the accents. I'd pick Matthew McConaughey. He's got a good voice. I don't know any females. I feel like maybe Oprah would be great. It has to be someone with the soothing sounds, or anyone with a British accent.
Yeah, I mean, I was watching the program today. I think Kenny Rogers was narrating it. So The Gambler, sure. Yeah, I'd take him.
Okay, and then so I'm going to read comments, and I'm not going to mention names. I'll just read comments for everybody so that you can share in. The great thing is that people comment on each other's posts. So our listeners at home, when they post these things, other people comment. So I'm really glad to see that you guys once again are still interacting with each other. And like I said, I don't think I'm going to name our listeners. I think it's just fair to let everyone have their own identity. I know a lot of YouTubers do that. They're like, or Lady Gaga, like my monster, stuff like that. But yeah, someone said Bobcat Goldthwait. Wait for me, and cause his voice fits perfectly with my dysfunctional life. Morgan Freeman, because he's a legend and people listen when he talks. Famed movie producer Robert Evans. Jesus of Nazareth. I'm Aramaic. Matt Berry. Do you know who Matt Berry is? I don't know if I know who that is. Les Claypool. Someone said, duh, Morgan Freeman. Sir Tony Robinson. I did not think about that. Oh, who else? John Malkovich would be kind of interesting, right? Yeah, he's got a good voice. Oh, and Edward Norton is good. Yeah, Edward Norton's good. Sarah Silverman would be great. And And then what's her face? She had she did like the late night, or Chelsea Handler would be great too.
Yeah.
She'd be awesome. Someone said, let's see. Who else? Tina Fey. Someone said Tina Fey. R2D2. would you even know what he's saying? John Cleese.
Sure.
Bob Marley. Someone said Bob Marley. That would be interesting. Crypt Keeper entirely for the puns. Sam Elliott, just because I think we'd have a lot in common. George Carlin or Christopher Lee. I didn't think about that. George Carlin would be great.
Yeah.
Let's see. Keith David. He'll make my life sound more interesting than it was. David Attenborough, because it would be ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh, Will Ferrell would be great too. Or even like who? Emma? Is it Emma Thompson? Is that the one that was in Stranger Than Fiction? I think that's her name, right? Oh, someone said Sarah Silverman or Joan Jett. That's cool. Natasha Lyonne. Because her brand of gritty sarcasm is exactly what would fit my life. She's a total turbo babe.
She got a new show out right now.
She does?
Yeah, a detective show that's on streaming.
What about Niecy Nash? Would be great.
Yeah.
Gilbert Gottfried. That would be good.
R.I.P. Gilbert.
Vincent Price. Do you know who that is?
Yes.
Pee Wee Herman. Rod Sterling, because my life is a Twilight Zone. Or better yet, Jordan Peele?
Jordan Peele.
Yeah. Pauly Shore. I don't think this needs elaboration. Sam Kinison, because, well, why not? You know who Sam Kinison?
Sam Kinison?
Kinison. Who is that?
Comedian from East Peoria.
Who else? Who was the one from Boston, the comedian? What's his name? He yells a lot. I forgot his name.
Yeah, you could have old Dennis Leary. Yeah.
Not Dennis Leary, it's someone else. He's from Boston. He yells and people think he's angry. I forget his name. Jesus of Nazareth. Okay, it's Matt Berry.
Yeah, we read those.
Okay. Let's see who else. James Earl Jones in his prime. Rosie Perez. Denzel Washington, because his way of expression through words would explain my world better. James Kenneth Graham, because he's Jimmy fucking Doom and gets how it feels. Tim Curry. That'd be a good one.
Yeah.
Jack Palance. What about what's his name? He was in
Or John Larroquette. He narrated Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
What about the guy that was in Casino with Robert De Niro, the short guy?
Pesci?
Joe Pesci would be great. John Waters for obvious reasons. A lot of people said Tom Waits or Alaska Thunderfuck 5000. Silent Bob. Amber Dawn. That's Amber Dawn is Alaska on RuPaul Drag Race. Remember who Alaska was? That was actually, I was voting for her. That was my huge crush. Actually, she was really, I liked her a lot. Like everything about her was great. Let's see who else. Iggy Pop. That's a good one. Richard Burton. What about the guy? Or George Burns would be great too. Iggy Pop. Let's see. Maya Angelou. Bill Burr. Thank you. Someone commented. Bill Burr. That's what I was trying to think of. Yeah, that's Bill Burr would be great because he yells. I feel like Bill Burr and I talk the same.
What about Raymond Burr?
I don't know who that is.
Harry Mason.
Jude Law. He would make my life sound amazeballs. Apu. Bob Cat. Go with weird. So that Jack Nicholson, because of course.
Homer Simpson.
So yeah, I thought that was funny. Let's see. Okay, so now we're gonna go to the next one. Let's see. Okay, so this is a Law and Order one, guys. So I'm gonna share the article with y'all, and we'll see what I'm talking about. Oh yeah. This is a Law and Order SVU. If you guys are into that, I am a fan of this show. I love this fucking show. I've been watching it. I don't even know when it came out. It must have come out a little bit after Law and Order, right? Law and Order was the first one. Was Law and Order the first one?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any story? Okay. So this one says, I gotta take the banner off. Okay. This one says Law and Order SVU has lied to us all again, and Twitter has had enough. So this article just came out like literally yesterday. It's hot off the press. Hot off the presses, y'all. Hot off the presses, y'all.
SVU is still on. Now they have
for sure, because Elliot came back. Remember, because he's doing his own the mob boss thing.
Yeah, that's pretty much I think what they're pumping everybody into.
So it says just kiss already. My God. So I guess I haven't watched the show in a while, maybe a year.
Well, on Law and Order Organized Crime, I think there's a scene. I don't think it was on SVU. I think it was Law and Order Organized Crime between Christopher Maloney and Mariska Hargitay.
Mariska Hargitay? Let's see. Okay.
Will they, won't they?
Okay, so it says, let me turn the volume down here. It says fans of Law and Order have been waiting for Olivia Benson and Elliot Stabler. Wait, hold on. Okay, wait. I'm going to show you the pictures. I can read the article. It says they've been together for 12 years. We've been watching them for 24 years. This fandom has seen 5 presidencies. There are grown adults with master's degrees who have never known a world untouched by the sexual tension between Benson and Stabler. And still these now middle-aged but still scorchingly hot TV cops have not kissed. And I'll say, for the times that I've watched the show, I didn't think they kissed, but I thought that there was like definitely some feels going on. Like there were some vibes going on, right? Where like even if they were alone or if they're doing a job or whatever, I'm like, oh, like, okay, there's something going on between these two. It says, so when the promo for the January 26th episode seemed to promise that at long last, actors Mariska Hargitay and Christopher Maloney were finally about to make out, you can imagine the excitement. Social media was abuzz and headlines were agog. Are they actually finally going to kiss? Well, you can also imagine the disappointment and wet hot fury when the episode aired and there was no kissing. So here I'm gonna share this. Hold on. I'm gonna share like the actual like video. There's a video here, so I'm gonna share the video clip with y'all. Okay, hold on.
No one gets away with trying to kill my son.
Are you threatening me?
It's blood for blood.
What did you call me?
You had your chance, you went rogue.
It's my turn to finish the job.
He's in town for 2 days to scout a buyer.
I got distribution. I know you got product.
I don't trust him.
You know what to do.
All right. So that was the clip, I guess, like of what you're, I guess what's to be expected for this new season. And I think it's nuts that they actually that it's been around for that long, you know? It's crazy. It says, well, you can also imagine the disappointment when the white hot fury when the episode aired and there was no kissing. Not only that, but it looks as if the scene teased in the promo, the one with the face holding, was cut from the final episode. So here we go, right here.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
remember seeing that.
So this person said the promo versus what really happened. Olivia didn't even touch his face in the episode. So they probably just did that as a thumbnail. Which I think,
Maybe.
which I don't want to be an asshole, but like you should expect that like they use thumbnails, right? But thumbnails are usually like a still from the video, from the content. If you're a YouTuber and you post stuff, usually like by default, it'll just find a thumbnail, you know, that's already there. It gives you like options. You can pick different stills, or you can just upload your own. So they might have uploaded their own. And then they're, you know, maybe it was a take that they were like, oh, we don't want to do that. Maybe it was an outtake or something. But then that's also like fooling us, right? They're also fooling us with it because they're like, I don't know. I mean, that's kind of me. So it says a promo versus what really happened. Olivia didn't even touch his face in the episode. NBC, you lie.
He's trying to get you in.
Another person tweeted, we were bamboozled. I haven't heard bamboozled in a while. Bamboozled. Because these scenes didn't even air. America needs these two geriatric cops to kiss like I've never seen before. This person must be like 18 or something. Geriatric, they're not even, are they 50? Geriatric is like 80, right? Or 7, I don't know. Like you had the shoes and everything. I'm pretty sure she can wear high heels though. Like, come on, guys. Let's see. They said fans will have to deal with the fact that actors Maloney and Haggerty are happily married to other people. That's just a fact of life. Well, I mean, a lot of actors are married.
Yeah.
I mean, Margot Robbie, for instance, right?
That
She basically like pushed herself onto what's his face and wanted to kiss him, and they're both with, I think, like she's with someone.
Well, she's married, yes. And
yeah, so that's kind of a bad excuse that like, oh, we're married. It's just acting. It's art.
acting,
like,
yes. And these are characters that we've known. I think we can separate.
I think that her
characters from the
husband will be
action.
okay. I think they're yeah, I think they'll be okay with, right?
Yeah.
What if their significant others are mad because they have to kiss? What if they're like, Mariska,
There's a twist.
you're not going to be hot forever. You need to do this.
There's a twist.
Fans will have to deal with the fact that actress Maloney and Haggerty are happily married to other people. But fans have a right to expect a TV show to make good on a will they, won't they, that they have been teasing for the better part of my lifetime. This is the person that's writing. I don't make the rules. So that's that, man.
That's that.
Yeah. Isn't that nuts though? I mean, really, like that's kind of crazy that like that hasn't happened yet. Really. I'm kind of deeply upset about it because I think that that, you know, it's important to be able to give a narrative and not try to fool people and not try to do hints and plant seeds and then nothing grows from
it's
it.
the equivalent to clickbait.
There you go. It's like clickbait. But that's just like so old though. We don't do that
Yeah.
anymore. We shouldn't be doing this anymore, you know?
Yeah, they've been doing it forever on TV. So they won't that.
Yeah, but then end up but then there's an outcome, you know, usually. There's usually an outcome, you know? Okay, so this next one is it's about TJ Holmes and Amy Robick. You guys know Robick. Tomato. Tomooties. Okay, so this one says TJ Holmes and Amy Robach are fired by ABC following several productive conversations with the lovers after Daily Mail revealed their affair. I did not know they were having an affair. Did you?
Yes, this was all over the news. This is why they got taken off of ABC. Which,
what are your thoughts on that?
I guess they have company policies, right? Otherwise, I'm not really certain. They didn't do anything wrong on air. I mean, but TJ Holmes, I think, has been accused of and has admitted and been found guilty of doing this in the office with other people working for ABC, and he is probably a serial cheater is probably a good way to put him.
So he's already been doing like that kind of stuff.
Yes.
Okay.
And for her, you know, I don't know if I think her and her husband are estranged. I don't know if they're still together. Maybe they are. I know there were some recent news stories that kind of posted those two together. They were seen walking their dog or things like that. So I imagine it's pretty contentious at home for her and her current significant. But yeah, I mean, outside of performance, you know, I'm not really certain that. All I could speculate is that probably within their contracts there must be something about that. I don't know.
Okay, well, it says,
and the fact that ABC, which is owned by Disney, maybe they want to try to portray some wholesome thing, and they don't really like infidelity or adultery, so that's why they did that.
I mean, aren't they like doing things with like Marvel and stuff? Like, aren't they doing like those are pretty dark? Like, I don't understand why it would be like a reputation thing, but I mean, I do understand, but like, I don't know why it's still like that. It says TJ Holmes and Amy Robach, the anchors of GMA 3 on ABC News, have been fired by the network. It comes less than 2 months after the revelation of their romantic relationship become a topic of discussion in the media. A meditation session. What does that mean? Between representatives for the anchors in the network was held but failed. It says so they got fired, and it says the anchors were unable to reach the agreement with the network over their roles at Good Morning America and their GMA afternoon show. They have an afternoon show too. Wouldn't it be Afternoon America? But bosses, they say several productive conversations were had with the pair. The hosts were accused of having an affair by their respective partners. Okay, so both their partners came forward. So that's how you know it's like legit.
No,
it's
they
not
were
alleged.
upset. Still don't again see why you would be fired from your job because of that, other than again
because that's bias now. Because they're supposed to be two individuals that have no relation to each other than and it changes the dynamic of the two, and they could like, what if they like planned a coup to like go to another station or like start their own show together? Like there's all these contracts and legal shit. Like I get it.
I guess now they can. They've been fired.
Yeah, so now, maybe they didn't care. Maybe they have a plan B in case
time to go to Fox or whatever, or some time to have an afternoon daytime talk show where they are on together.
It says the host. Okay, it says the announcement of the pair sacking from the network came in an email sent to all staff in the network on Friday night. It began. I want to share. Let's see. I think this is the actual thing. I want to share with you that we've reached the decision about TJ and Amy. Here's the statement that we are about to release. After several productive conversations with Amy Robach and TJ Holmes about different options, we all agreed it's best for everyone that they move on to ABC News. We recognize their talent and commitment over the years and are thankful for their contributions. They're like, yeah, thank you, fuck off. The decision about who will co-anchor GMA in 2020 will come later. I know this has been a distraction for so many of us, but it wasn't for me. I didn't give a fuck. I don't watch regular TV. But let's not forget all the great work that comes to ABC to make ABC News the number one news network in America. And that's because of you. Now, I have to say, I'm sure some of my older family members know about this because they do watch the news, and obviously we're not a Fox family or anything. And my side of the family, we don't watch that. I don't know I think your family does, but I don't think they believe it. No, they don't watch Fox.
Fox is in cable network news.
Oh, they don't have that. Okay. So it says after several productive conversations with Amy Robach and TJ Holmes about different options, we all agreed it's best for everyone that they move on from ABC News. We recognize their talent and commitment over the years and are thankful for their contributions. The email also stated how decisions will be made later on who will co-anchor. Okay, so that's, yeah. So that's that. Oh. Look at that. Uh-oh.
And since then, and since this has all been come out, like I said, those two are not even together anymore.
So what was the fucking point?
What's the point? Like I said, he's a serial cheater.
Oh my god.
If there's anybody who probably should have been fired because of what was going on or all the contentiousness that was going on in the office, it's probably him. But I get
Well,
probably
you
the
think
public,
he's the alpha in it, and maybe she was pulled into his orbit.
his yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, he can't keep his hands to himself, as the song goes. So,
But then she might know that. She would be like, "Oh, this is gonna be fun," right?
I guess
Like just have a
I
little
mean,
a little
office
tryst.
affair, right?
Yeah, a little
Office
tryst or something. I like the way you say tryst again.
Tryst, an office
Tryst.
tryst.
An
And here's
office
the twist.
tryst.
They're
And
both
here, right? So the next one is going to be another article. I bet you all know about this. This is also a TV related topic. So it's like a what you watching type topic. Because everyone knows Rick and Morty is the shit. And so is Solar Opposites. I fucking loved Solar Opposites.
I enjoy them both too.
And the fact that like the guy from fucking Goldberg's, the son is in there and he's just swearing up a storm. Like
He does
it's
like to say
weird.
fuck a lot,
It's
doesn't he?
weird. Well, not even just that, but just like saying just like demonic thing, like just not like they're all psychopaths, right? We
Yeah.
can assume that.
They're all psycho.
And like in Rick
Really?
and Morty, Rick, is obviously a sociopath. He's smarter than his, he's too smart for his own good, too smart for anyone's good. And Morty is beta, but sometimes an alpha. Sometimes he stands up for himself. I like the way it ended. I don't, spoiler alert, you guys. I like the way it ended when he kind of met what we assume the original, right?
Yeah.
And that it made okay. So this is what I think, Matthew. When I watched that last episode with you of the last season, it made that scene made me feel like, wait, was every episode like besides the obvious ones? How do we know if it was the original? Like, how do we know if it's the original?
You don't.
Right? So like, besides the obvious ones where we're like, oh yeah, that's clearly a double or whatever, and then somehow they go back to original. But how do we fucking know? And there's got to be like infinite amount of them, right? Infinite amount of Ricks and Mortys. So and Summers and
Yes.
whatever, right? So this is more about the this is about the guy who played, the creator of Rick and Morty and Solar Opposites, and apparently he's a voice in a video game too. But I guess they said that they could probably replace that a lot easier than getting rid of the Rick and Morty and Solar Opposite show, because they poured so much money into those shows that like you don't really see the creator in the video games. You don't see him in these shows, but like the video game, I guess, is less money. Maybe it took less money to make.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really matter who the voice is for that. So this one, it says, who's the new voice of Rick and Morty? So if you guys weren't paying attention, apparently the owner or the CEO, Justin Rowland, he was getting a domestic battery charge. I don't know I didn't know who they said Jane Doe. They didn't mention the name of this person, which is fair.
It's an alleged, right?
It's an alleged thing.
They don't know.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, and it's weird because it's like, at the same time, I don't want to know about this. I don't want to know like the intimate details of somebody that made something that I enjoy, because it just makes it more real.
To that, now it's becoming an age-old question: can you separate the
artist from the art? Yeah, it's
when the artist is probably doing things that you don't agree with, or whether you're morally wrong or whatever. I mean, we deal with that a lot.
It started with Chris Brown for me, and then like obviously. Singers, bass. No, it started with Bass Nectar for us. I think when we started our podcast.
Him out, but that's more than that. That was more than allegations. That
was real.
The
fact that he used like fucking, what was the movie that we used with Kevin Spacey, which is another piece of shit. American Beauty. Yeah. He used that like in his set or something. He used the music, and he was like, so that's clearly obviously. And then Chris Brown and Marilyn Manson obviously is not. you guys can disagree. I don't think he ever assaulted anyone in that way. I don't think he hurt anyone in that way. I think he's an intense
those are
person.
some of the allegations against
But
him.
he won the case. So, and he's friends with Johnny Depp. Like I just don't I don't think that Johnny Depp would hang out with someone like that. They've made music together. They've gone on tour together. Like I doubt that Johnny Depp's gonna be like, oh yeah, this guy's a piece of shit. I'm gonna hang out with him.
And know that too. If you lose it in
Whoops. Sorry guys. If you what?
civil court, which is a lot easier versus say criminal law where you are innocent until proven guilty and the burden of proof is on this who's ever again the defense attorneys to prove that, mainly because criminal law has some of the most severe penalties, including all the way up to death, whether in civil court not so much. But if you're going to lose in civil court, then chances are there was never enough evidence to be able to file charges, and there's no way you were going to be charged with a crime.
Yeah. So it says that it was hit by waves of the bad news this week, blah, blah, blah. The end result is that Adult Swim is cutting ties with Roiland. It would seemingly be the end of Rick and Morty altogether, but this apparently is not the case. According to Adult Swim, the show will go on, but without Roiland. But how is this possible? Roiland was not only a driving creative force, but also the literal voice of the show's titular characters. He was Rick and Morty in that. And then he was like, I think the main guy in Solar Opposites.
Yes.
Roiland was not only, okay, it says that in the wake of all the events of the last few days, some fans believe that they found a suitable replacement. The question is, will it be the replacement many fans want, or will we see a different voice for Rick and Morty? And you know that I actually heard that, like, did you tell me that he like actually drank on the show to make it sound like?
No, we had a friend that did that at the end, like at least during the first season, that was known that for to do
he had to sound drunk.
Rick's voice. Yeah, he literally got drunk during the voiceovers and would be able to do that. So, it'd be interesting, right? Because is he not also, when they say create, he's not only the voices, right? But was he not also part of the writing team and coming up with the stories and that? The driving force.
He literally was like, he probably had his hand in many pots,
I get it. It's probably a lot of Dan Harmon, but
says there's been no shortage of impersonators for the iconic voices of Rick Sanchez and Morty Smith over the years. Everyone thinks that they can do a good Rick voice or a good Morty voice or a good Mr. Meeseeks voice, but one man has just an accurate impersonation that even Justin Roiland himself gave the man the props. So this guy is pretty. He was like kind of like given props by Justin Roiland. It says his name is Sean Kelly, and many Rick and Morty fans are now requesting that Adult Swim make him the new voice of the show's main characters. A video from Sean's TikTok showcases Roiland's praise of his impersonation along with the clips of how their voices are. Sean does impressions of more than just Rick and Morty. He also does a great job impersonating other Roiland characters like Mr. Meeseeks and Earl of Lemongrab from the Adventure Time. I don't think I've watched Adventure Time, so I don't know what they're. I wouldn't know kind of how they sound, but I'll share his TikTok video in the comments because I'm not going to play it on here. My computer's kind of slow.
Yeah, it's one thing to be able to do the impersonations, but he was a co-creator of the show. So now you are going to lose that kind of creative influence, and not that continuing on, maybe it still can't be as crazy and funny and genius and thought-provoking as it can be, but it kind of feels like a Reese's peanut butter, and now you're basically going to suck the peanut butter right out of it, and it's just going to be, it could be a hollowed shelled piece of chocolate.
It says, overall, it seems like Sean's vocal pipes are engineered to perfectly replicate Justin Roiland's uniquely boisterous voice. Justin even said it himself in a YouTube video reviewing impressions of himself. Quote, if you were to play that next to me doing it, people would have a hard time knowing which was which. Okay, so that's a good thing. That's how we know that, he kind of got like passed the torch, right, by Justin. And I'll give Justin that. I'll give him the fact that he actually bowed out and he kind of like passed the torch. He made sure that we were all okay.
Well, no, I don't think he bowed out either.
Well, they said that he quit. He resigned.
He resigned.
Which is why,
who knows about that? It'd be interesting to see in the coming days, weeks, and months if there's not more to this. If maybe they just ousted him and said, "Hey, either we're going to fire you or you can quit." And it looks like he chose to walk away versus maybe potentially being fired.
Yeah. So I'll share the YouTube video in the comments so you can watch that. It says, regardless of which voice actor they chose to replace Justin Roiland, it's very unlikely that the show will ever be the same. It's unknown that at this time exactly how Roland's departure from the show will affect its trajectory moving forward. Fellow co-creator Dan Harmon has yet to release any kind of statement addressing Justin's charges, so we don't really know the charges yet. As far as the public is aware, Harmon is still on the Rick and Morty team and will be leading the charge moving forward. Hopefully, we'll hear something from him about the show and Roland soon. So it says the first 6 seasons of Rick and Morty are out now. Season 7, as of now, is still underway. We can expect big announcements about the major changes on the show that changes the show we'll see sometime in the near future. So what do you think about that? Do you want to keep watching it? Do you think that it would be, I mean, for the listeners at home too, like, do you want to keep watching it?
Are you going to keep supporting this show? Are you going to watch it? I mean, I get it. Dan Harmon has quite a following himself. But so did Justin Roiland. I mean, he, again, on a lot of shows as a voiceover, although not necessarily, a creator. And I thought Rick and Morty was it was out there. It was crazy. It was fun. And I'm not sure that we'll see how much they can capture that. I think you're about ready to find out exactly maybe how much influence Dan had versus Justin had. And really, you'll see, and according to that article, I would agree, moving forward, even if they do continue the show, it's still not going to be the same show.
Has this ever happened with other shows? Do you remember? Do you know if this is
cartoons?
Just in general, like,
this is unique because not only is one of the voice actors on the show, but he's also a creator of the show. I don't know how many times that has happened. I'm sure plenty. I mean, TV has a long history of replacing people. Obviously, I mean, look at Family Guy. I mean, look at Meg. I mean,
yeah, but that was short-lived, though. I feel like Mila has more of a.
And of course, that wasn't done because, again, what's her face, Lacey Chambert was doing anything bad. I think her parents didn't want her to continue to be on that show.
Well, she also had to go to school.
And she had to go to school,
she
right?
She to go to college.
Yeah, so she had. I mean, there's lots of reasons why.
Roseanne too, like Roseanne, right? Is that what you mentioned?
I didn't mention Roseanne.
Roseanne was the same way.
With the Becky's, right?
She went to school. She ended up going to school as well. So, but at least they tried. I mean, it was funny. It was like, wait, she kind of looks the same. Or like, let's even go further back in time. Bewitched. The Darrens were different.
The Darrens,
right? I mean, and they both had the same name.
Entertainment has a history of replacements.
Or like, obviously, and then there's like the example of passing the torch, like, what was the show? Let's Make a Deal? Was it Bob Barker?
Price is Right.
The Price is Right. So then
Drew
they had
Carey and things like that. I mean, and Jeopardy. I mean, again, a history of that. And some shows probably don't fall off. Other shows hell, probably even get better, even if that's possible. And then what happens, probably more than not, is they're not quite the same, or they're off, and then they just disappear.
Okay, so this one's a little bit more dark, you guys. We're gonna end on this one. So in tribute to all of our LGBTQIA fellow peers out there and everywhere around the world, and then we'll kind of talk about Beyonce later, because that's another one that I just thought of we should add. But this is about a trans woman that was killed.
No, I mean, I think it could tie into that, right?
I don't think it has anything to do with it. But
well, no, she performed in a country where they are very anti-LGBTQIA.
Let's talk about this one. This has nothing to do with that, but it definitely has. The only relation is that this is about the community. This is Chicago. This is local. So this says Chicago trans woman Unique Banks killed in alleged anti-trans mass shooting. So they're saying alleged, which I think it just means that they're still investigating. They're investigating the charges. So this came out 2 days ago. This is Unique, and she was only 21 years old, which is, I mean, like, she was just a young girl.
Yeah, way too young. Yeah, far too young.
So if y'all live in Chicago, and even if you don't, just pay attention to this, and keep your loved ones safe, especially your trans friends and family. It says after 2 people were killed and 3 were wounded in Chicago home invasion Monday, the mother of one of the victims is speaking out, saying that she believes the attack was motivated by anti-transgender hate. On the afternoon of January 23rd, 2 people described as teens wearing ski masks, typical. Show your face if you're gonna do this shit. We want to see your fucking face, okay? It says in camouflage, kicked in the door of an apartment in the Chicago South Side, demanding money before opening fire on the room. According to a local CBS affiliate, Unique Banks, a 21-year-old trans woman, and her mother, Alexandra Olomo, 43, were killed at the scene. Another trans woman who was shot 7 times managed to escape the scene after playing dead and drove to a nearby McDonald's where she called for help. She was shot 7 times. And she managed, I mean, the fact that your body can create that adrenaline, I bet she didn't even feel it. I mean, right? It's like she had no time to think.
The will to live, that's pretty impressive.
Or she wasn't hit in areas maybe that were fatal,
Yeah, I think getting anywhere would hurt.
She and the 2 others were taken to the University of Chicago Medical Center in critical condition. It says, speaking to Chicago Fox affiliate WFLD on Tuesday, the mother of the woman who ran for help, who spoke anonymously for safety, said she believes the shooting was a hate crime and that there was a connection between the shooters and at least one of the victims. So one of them knew each other. So someone knew each other. Her statement, okay, so they shouldn't be walking around, she told reporters. They could still kill anybody. They don't have a good heart.
Oh, no. I mean, they just ain't regular. I mean, shooting somebody up like that, I mean, obviously that didn't seem to faze them to go do that. Yeah, no, I'd say they have forfeited their right to walk around freely.
It says her mother took place her murder took place in December, but it is only now being committed amongst those who lost the anti-trans violence in 2022. Unique Banks is now at least the 5th known trans person to die by violence in 2023. Already. Starting the new year off with this shit. The following reports of Destiny Howard, Tortuguita, Jasmine Star Mack, and C.K. Johnson earlier this month. Yeah. All right, guys. It says, okay, so obviously, so these are all the people right here. So these are, these are articles. These are related news articles. So it says Destiny Howard is a trans woman. Okay, so that's a lot in starting off this year for this bullshit. We already have to deal with the government, fucking them over. And Mark is it Mark Walsh? He wants to basically commit genocide on everyone. Okay, so the thing about trans people and Jewish people in comparison when Mark Walsh was talking about it, which Elon Musk gave him his Twitter platform back, by the way. So what does that say about Elon? He's grasping at straws. Elon is grasping at straws. Or someone's pulling the strings back there. But is that you'll never not have people who are Jewish or trans. It just won't. So like that's why it stopped eventually. It was like we can't do this. Like people are always going to be born Jewish. People are always going to be born, their ethnicity, unless we try to kill every single person that's not white. But being trans is like your brain, and being gay and having sexuality is in your brain, whether it's accepted or realized later in life or any point of your life, it's always there. You can't do that shit. You can't just be like, oh, we just have to get rid of everybody that's like that. You can't. You'd be doing it for forever until someone's like, oh,
that's
I
why
don't
that
think
kind of rhetoric and those kind of thoughts and thinking.
It's ridiculous.
Yes.
It's not just hateful. It's fucking ridiculous. The people that want that to happen, those people need to go to an island with wild animals and fend for themselves. That's the nicest thing I'm going to say about it. Literally, that's the nicest thing that I'm going to say. Because wanting that to happen means that either you are like those people and you don't want to realize that, or you've been told by someone that those people are the enemy, they're the enemy. They're other. They're not like us, and that's not okay. So those people need to take their head out of their ass, find Jesus, find Allah, find Buddha, find somebody, and really go into your consciousness and figure out why the fuck you're like that and why you want this to happen. Because it's a learned behavior. It's a learned hate. It's a learned, association. And no matter how low you're feeling in your life or how bad your life is, those are the people that join cults. Those are the people that join people that, even if they're a hate group, they feel like they're accepted, right?
Yeah,
so
I consider it
you're finding love in the wrong place. You're finding it in low
weak-minded
places.
And
I can't be mad at them. I just have to be sad for them because the wrong person has saved you, and that's not right. So I'm going to end with a note saying that you guys need to watch your backs, watch your friends' backs, watch your family. Really think about things that you take in during the day. Journal, write it down, text your friend, talk to people about what you have absorbed during the day. See what their reactions are. I do it all the time, and it really helps because then you realize, oh, okay, well, this person's saying XYZ. Maybe I should, consider why they think differently than me. And a lot of my bestest and closest friends are people that can think differently than I do and have a different perspective. But if it doesn't end in hate, then it's fine. It's okay. You can even walk away disagreeing with that.
Yes,
person.
you don't have to agree. You can always have differing opinions.
And that's the beauty of it, right?
Yes, conversation hasn't ever hurt anybody. But
no.
We don't need violence.
Yes.
And
acting on it is bad.
Yes.
So we're going to end on that. We're going to say we love you. We want you to stay safe. And we want you to be happy. And yeah, that's about it. I'm Megan.
I'm Matt.
And you're listening to The Night Owl.
The Night Owl.
Oh, let's do it again. I'm Megan.
I'm Matt.
And you're listening to
The Night Owl.